Shalom Israel, first and foremost, I do want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakdash, the born to the apostles, and those great millstone forward, teaching his truth, peace, and blessings to the whole of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the unfriendly Hebrew, Ba'ashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Megan Son. Back in lesson, as see what's in the title, Babylon is crumbling. Now, this place is sinking down the drain. It's a sinking ship. And you especially have many of our people are wanting to go down with the ship. They're putting their faith, trust in Esau, Edom, in Babylon the Great, in this beast system, thinking that they're going to be all right, fine and dandy, that this devil's going to reserve a spot, for you on this side, especially, speaking of the Israelite camps that have took the bag, as either, progressively, sounding a lot more like these anti-Christians, day by day, pushing, promoting false doctrine, leading our people astray. And really, the Lord is, revealing, who he is dealing with and who he is not. And it should be, crystal clear by now with who your true teachers are. So again, Malachi 3:18, discern between who serve the Most High and who serve them not. A lot of these guys are not serving the Lord, but themselves. But got two quick articles I do want to go into, just dealing with the things that are unfolding within Babylon the Great, as gas prices skyrocketing, which is also going to lead to other goods skyrocketing, as you've already been seeing, inflation, shrinkflation, which pretty much paying more for less. But as you've been seeing with this Iran, Israel, U.S. situation, heating up, which is only ultimately going to get worse. So you may see other allied nations, get involved, which is only going to add more, say affliction, for lack of better words, for Babylon the Great, which is dealing with these goods, the imports, and all types of stuff, as you already have been seeing, which is dealing with the tariffs, the outrageous prices that people are having to pay to transport their goods, to get goods, whatever the case may be. But it's obviously going to affect various people, as you're especially going to soon see a famine. And that was just various other things getting ready to unfold. But got two articles doing get a couple scriptures, and the Lord's lesson be edifying. Just dive right into it. And that says, this commercial article says, the war created an oil problem. It's not the only price you'll pay. Hey, there you go. And it looks like I can't even get more of it, which that sucks. See if I can bypass it. If not, just read the other article, which that title alone just shows you the hurt that Babylon will feel. It's not even loading the article anymore. See what this says is where's the exit for Trump? Harder to get out of the Iran war than in it. Let's see. And this is the AI overview. This is let's see. President Trump's decision to launch strikes against Iran has created a protracted conflict, hostile reactions from allies, rising energy costs, and growing domestic opposition, underscoring how hard it is for President to exit a war once it begins. As you also see, which I believe I have the article dealing with the government shutdown, which I've been coming across a couple of videos of people in these super long lines, having to wait hours to finally board the plane and get to the destination. Because once you have people pretty much going unpaid, and you have people not wanting to go unpaid, is why you're seeing a lot of the workers not showing up. But it says the government shutdown may lead to airport closures, which will lead to people not be able to travel. The second Ezra 16, or is the second Ezra's I believe it's 16. And no, actually I think it's second Ezra's let's see. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Second Ezra's 16. I don't know if it's the 16th chapter. If I take that chapter, let's see. Salaki, kind of 15. Salaki, I was thinking of a couple of the scriptures, but second is 15 and 17. The main one I was speaking of right here, or thinking of. But it says, a man shall desire to go into his city and shall not be able. So you're gonna have soon this place, shut down, as you also had a while back, Trump alluding to declaring, martial law. He also said that he didn't have enough justification or reason to declare it. So you're most definitely gonna see this devil have a hand in stirring up a certain situation or to declare it to be justified in doing so. As you've been seeing a lot of things happening over there in Tel Aviv, which came across one of the best lessons, GMS brothers from Kansas, if I'm correct, Kansas City. But it's going to that situation where you have a lot of protests taking place over there. They soon come to Babylon, but it says an acting Deputy TSA Administrator Adam Stahl warned that continued callouts could force the shutdown of smaller airports. But that's the point. Let's just get these scripts at hand. To get those 2 articles regarding what's taking place. But this is Jeremiah 51 and 9, one of the first scriptures that came to mind. And it says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. There is no remedy. Nothing can save Babylon the Great, aka America, from its fate. It's sealed. It's a done deal. It is written, and it will come to pass as the Lord said it would. As you can get within the scripture, how his word shall not return to him void. As we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. As you also get various other scriptures going to how her sins have reached into heaven. It shows how wicked this place truly is. And also why you get in scripture how they're going to drink double. But doing another translation, it says we would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. You can't stop prophecy, which this devil has been trying to do, but he's unable to. He's given within the scripture, you can't do anything against truth, but for the truth. So we would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Let her go. Abandon her. Return now to your own land, for her punishment reached into the heavens, and it's so great it cannot be measured. A great judgment is ready to befall this place. But 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3 says, for when they shall say peace and safety, which there's no peace nor safety come to this place. And I wanted to get that article from CNN right there, but you pretty much need to pay to, I guess, read it. But they made a point to where you're pretty much going to face a lot more problems than just gas prices, as you saw within that title. But it says, for when they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So obviously you're gonna have this devil doing damage control, saying everything's all fine and dandy. As you also have a lot of people speculating that Netanyahu is supposedly taken out. A lot of AI videos coming out about him, and I believe they even made a video themselves saying that he's not taken out. He's drinking a cup of coffee, whatever the case was. But even then, people still pointed out outliers within that supposed real video. So that could possibly be something there. We have to see. Just going to that point, but it says, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So just going to show that point. There's no peace nor safety coming to place, but death, destruction, despair. It's 2 Ezra 16:19 through 22. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. These are judgments from Yahweh Bashim Shai. You get Ecclesiastes 39 goes into, spiritual created for vengeance, goes to fire and hell, famine. Teeth of wild beasts, goes into many forms of judgment which the Lord uses. But verse 20 says, "But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." Verse 21, which is the main point. And it says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good cases." That people were comfortable, thinking everything's all cool, fine, and dandy. That was all good. But yet, right under your nose, it says, "And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." And guess what? Only evils are coming to this place, man. Destruction, death. It's only getting worse out here. This is why it's so important to seek the Lord, to be under the hedge and protection of Yahweh Bashim El Shai. Because without the Lord, you're through, plainly put. As we're going to further get in scriptures, those that want to rely upon this devil, upon Esau, Edom, want to put their faith and trust in him rather than Yahweh Bashim El Shai, the one doing these things, you're going to get what's coming to you. It's going to bite you back in the behind. And matter of fact, various scriptures going to trust in the Lord. Psalm 19:8 is better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in man, paraphrasing. And various other examples. But for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So a destruction and great judgment is going to befall this place once again. Now let's get a couple more, and that'll be the point. This is Ezekiel 7:19. And it says, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed." So just going to show the various problems that are going to, affect Babylon the Great, its inhabitants, to where very soon, as you see the economy collapsing as we speak. America's in trillions of dollars in debt, and now you have a war taking place. You have talks of a draft getting ready to take place, which the prophets have been warning of. Probably how starting with the apostles and elders on down over the great millstone for years that these things were coming. But this being especially another problem, that soon people are just throwing out their cash. And for example, as you see within these, apocalyptic, type of movies, they use their money, to keep their fire ablaze, to keep it lit, fuel for the fire. So how useless the dollar will soon be. As we already have various nations leaving it behind, done with the BRICS. That's why you think, things have been moving towards a digitized system, Once the modern day, currency is, this paper dollar. Of course, there's actually, silver and gold and stuff, but this is what, you see mainly used. But they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. As you can further get another scripture going to, thy riches shall not profit in the day of wrath. And, other scriptures also, further expound that. But they shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. So the NLT has to say is they will throw their money in the streets, tossing it out like worthless trash. We're getting ready to soon see. Their silver and gold won't save them on that day of the Lord's anger, and you'll neither satisfy nor feed them, for the greed can only trip them up. A couple more scriptures. Isaiah 31:2-3 says, "Woe to rebellious children, say the Lord, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with a covering but out of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. They walked to go into Egypt, and have not asked of my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt." Verse 3, which is the main point. "Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." Be your shame and confusion for trusting in this devil, for putting your faith and trust in him rather than Yahweh Bashim El Shai. But you see, Jacob is carnal, man. They see Esau has, his strong military, these weapons and, all these, various things. But that's also not going to work out for you, because you also get in Isaiah 30, it goes into that point. And as we just read, that should be your shame and your confusion. Because this devil doesn't like you one bit, and you will soon realize he's not your friend, but your foe, your enemy. It's written within the scriptures for a reason. Ecclesiastes 12, you'll never trust an enemy. Psalm 58, Psalm 55, going to this devil being a natural born liar, not to be trusted. And one look throughout history should tell you that. But Jake wants to get backstabbed, for the 100th time. This is Matthew 24:8. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Now, if you get another translation, it says, but this is only the first of the birth pains with more to come. This is just the start. It's only going to pick up, man. Hey, people thought things couldn't possibly get worse. Well, guess what? It can only get worse. This is 2 Kings 16:37-39. And to that point, behold, the plagues draw nigh and on a slack. Your meaning is not letting up. As when a woman would shout 9th month, bring forth her son, where 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains can pass her womb. So as we get closer to that deliverance, closer to our Lord Yahweh's return, closer to the end of this devil's kingdom, these birth pains are going to be at its peak, at its highest. This is why you're seeing so many things happening and taking place. What's it doing with these birth pains? Dealing with these, plagues, pestilences, judgments, just chaos unfolding. As when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plague be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And this is a section we already got, but I'll read this one more time. Starting with the 15th verse. Because we are especially soon getting ready to see. And I said, for the sword and the instruction draw 9, when people shall stamp and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Which is the modern day sword, these weapons, these guns. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another should not regard their kings nor princes, dealing with the people in power and authority, being your presidents, mayors, your police force, whatever the case may be. And the course shall stand in their power. And just to close it out, a man shall desire to go into his city shall not be able, as you saw, where they're talking, having talks of, shutting down a lot of these, airports, which will lead to a lot of people unable to travel. Which you could see, something pop off to where this devil, will declare martial law, which is ultimately soon to come. We just have to see exactly how everything will play out. But this is what, you are getting ready to see. But, that's the point right there. Lord's will lesson was edifying. Came across 2 articles that make a lesson going into it with, what's unfolding and what's, the state that Babylon is in and how it's only on the decline. So that's the point. I don't close out, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh.